Alright, so let's go over my tree. We'll start with a tree, then we'll go over to Paragon, and then we'll go over gear, and then we'll go over Book of, whatever you call it. It's called Book of Dead. That's the word. I went with Bone Splinters this time. If you watched my Bloodlance / Blood Surge build guide, then that's different. That's changed. Only reason we've changed from that is because of Rothman's Vigor. It's now at 12 seconds, which helps us a lot, but that's not the reason. It's the reason that we swap from Hemorrhage to Bone Splinters is because Hemorrhage procs Rothma's Vigor, and we do not want Hemorrhage to proc our Rothmas. We want Blood Surge to proc Rothmas, or we want Blood Mist to proc Rothmas. So I put 5 into Bone Splinters. I could probably move some points from Bone Splinters and put them somewhere else. Then I went with Enhanced Bone Splinters, 25% chance to fire 2 additional projectiles to cast while you have 50 or more essence. Then I went with Initiate's Bone Splinters to get vulnerable, so we can make mobs vulnerable. And I went with Enhanced Blood Surge and Paranormal Blood Surge. Enhanced Blood Surge, just life regen, basically. So every time you cast with Blood Surge, you're healing 3% of your maximum life. If 4 or more enemies are drawn from, then heal for an additional 3% of your maximum life. So you get double the heal if there are 4 or more enemies. And the Paranormal Blood Surge guarantees you an overpower after 5 stacks. So 5 hits with Blood Surge, and you gain a stack of 5, and then you can drop another Blood Surge, and you'll guarantee overpower. And then we have Hewed Flesh. That's 12% chance to create a corpse every time you kill a target. And that comes into play when we go to our Paragon board. You guys will see that in a minute. I use Blood Mist to open on bosses. You can use it throughout the boss fight, or whatever you want to use it for. But I just like using Blood Mist to open a boss fight when I have 12 stacks of Rothma's Vigor. But that's the only reason I really use Blood Mist. Other than that, it's to gain immune for 3 seconds. So if you're like stunned and you're about to die, drop Blood Mist and you'll be unstunned, and then you can run away. That kind of thing. Enhanced Blood Mist, overpower, reduces your cooldown by 2 seconds every time you overpower. And then Dreadful Blood Mist, it fortifies you. So you can use it to fortify you as well. Doesn't give you much, though. We go down here to the curses and such. Death's Reach, just kind of obvious there. 12% increased damage for distant enemies. And then Death's Embrace, close enemies take 6% more damage from you and deal 9% less damage to you. So it's a double-edged sword here, so we gained more damage, and we also take less, so it's damage reduction for us, basically. To open with, we drop Iron Maiden. Every single time I do this, I drop Iron Maiden and Decrepify, and then I hit with the Blood Surge. You guys should see that in the playthrough video at the very end here, if you want to stick around for that. Iron Maiden's good. It doesn't matter too much about the damage, that mobs deal to you. So that each time a mob damages you, they get damage back from you, kind of. It's like thorns almost. But that's not why we have it. The main reason we have it is for the essence here. The 5 essence for each enemy cursed. So you drop that and you gain you gain essence back. And then another reason is this right here, Adherent Iron Maiden. So you heal for 7% of your maximum life when an enemy dies, which they're going to die at some point. So you keep dropping Iron Maiden throughout the fight, and you'll get essence back, and you'll heal when mobs die. So if you're fighting a pack of elites, and you kill all the trash mobs, and you're like half health, and the trash mobs die, you pretty much heal all the way back to full. Amplify damage, another no-brainer there. Increased damage to cursed enemies. Well, we double curse. I don't know if that stacks. So I don't know if it stacks per curse. I haven't done the math on that or the testing of that. Somebody knows, let me know. But if we drop Iron Maiden, obviously we're getting Amplify damage, and same with Decrepify, we get Amplify damage. Now, Decrepify, you want the slow. That helps a lot. And they deal 20% less damage. You could probably bump Decrepify up, so I could take points from Bone Splinters and bump it into Decrepify, which should increase your damage reduction. Or less damage you get from mobs. Enhanced Decrepify, enemies, you get 10% chance to be stunned. Which helps with bosses sometimes, because sometimes you can drop Decrepify and they'll be stunned. Then we went with Adherent Decrepify. Enemies hit while afflicted with Decrepify have a 15% chance to reduce your active cooldowns That helps when you're using Blood Mist. That's the main reason you have that. You probably could swap to this, but it doesn't really do much. The juicy stuff here. Gruesome Mending, that's just if we're below 50% life, we gain 30% more healing from sources, which is good for potions if your potion doesn't heal you all the way, which it should anyway, but Blood Orbs also. We don't use Blood Orbs though, so you could throw in some Blood Orbs. Coalesce Blood, I will be removing the 2+2 I have here. We'll be moving that into Tides of Blood. But Coalesce Blood, while healthy, your blood skills deal 30% increased damage. Only reason I want to move them to Tides of Blood, because I don't know if blood damage helps your overpower damage. And we mainly focus overpower damage. And that's where Tides of Blood comes in. Your blood skills deal 15% increased overpower damage. That's where we want that. So if we get 2 more onto that, we should probably be in, I don't know, probably close to 30% increased overpower damage. I don't know the stack on that, but... And then I have Drain Vitality. Hitting enemies with blood skills has a chance to fortify you. Again, we want to be fortified and have life as much as possible. Next, we have Standalone. I just used that to get to Memento Mori, which is our sacrifice bonuses are up by 60%. And we sacrifice, so that's helpful. Inspiring Leader, which helps us a little bit. It's for minions and you. So while healthy for at least 4 seconds, you gain 12% attack speed. More attack speed we have, the more attacks we can hit with Blood Surge, which means the more chances we have to overpower, which we want to overpower as much as possible. And then we have Bone Storm, that's my big pack of mobs button. So if I have like multiple elites in the pack and a bunch of small trash mobs, I'll drop Bone Storm. 2 reasons. 1, it gives us damage reduction, as you can see there, from Prime Bone Storm. Damage reduction is increased by 15% while Bone Storm is active. That is very great for surviving those packs. And then you have your critical strike chance, which is also applied to overpower damage. So you can crit with your overpower damage, and my overpowers hit for like almost 100k, and then with crits, it almost hits like 200k. So it's pretty great. And then obviously the piece de resistance here is Rothma's Vigor. After being healthy for 12 seconds, your next blood skill overpowers, which you have to stay healthy. If you're not healthy, this build is useless to you, because you're not going to overpower. You're just going to be hitting normal blood surges and blood mist damage, which is trash. But yeah, so they used to be 15 seconds. Now they lowered it down to 12 on a couple updates ago. But it's very, very key here. And you can stack this with Paranormal Blood Surge. So you're every 5 stacks, and then you get another 12 stacks of Rothmas. So you're guaranteed to overpower twice. Anyway, onto our Paragon board. You can pause here if you want to see like the paths I took here. It's not that crazy. Obviously, I picked up Prime, 20% damage, max life. And I grabbed Gravekeeper here, which you deal 2% increased damage up to 12% for every close corpse. That is where this comes in. Hewed Flesh, 12% chance to create a corpse on the target, at the target's location, I mean. Then I have Knowledge, which is just flat % damage. And then if you meet the bonus requirements, you gain another 19%. And then we move up into Guarded Advance, which is damage on Fortified. And we should be fortified a lot. So that helps with damage. As well as the bonus there, another 10%. Powerhouse, damage while healthy. We should be healthy all the time. If we're not healthy, we're not overpowering. So you have to be healthy. So might as well have damage while healthy. And then our legendary node, Bloodbath. I grabbed that first. That was my first one I grabbed. And that is because our guaranteed... attacks that are guaranteed to overpower deal 50% increase more damage. Which are 2 that overpower are guaranteed are Paranormal Blood Surge at 5 stacks, and then Rothma's Vigor at 12. And I always try to open with Rothma's Vigor on. So I should have another 50% extra overpower damage on top of what Rothma's normally does. The resistance to all elements is useless to me, really, but it's mainly for damage taken over time reduction. And I went with Thick High, which is damage all fortified and some max life. Again, we're going to be fortified pretty much the entire time. You can ignore these right here. These 2 right here. I am working my way to this glyph socket, so there'll be another way there at some point. And I don't really know what I'm going to put there yet, but I wanted another glyph socket. Then we move over here to Death Marked, damage to injured enemies, which I'm going to be removing at some point, because I'm going to try to find something different, because I don't like increased damage against injured enemies, because To be injured, you have to be 35% or less. And if you're 35% or less, you're already going to die anyway. So I want to hit as hard as possible on the opening hit. And I want damage to healthy enemies. If that's somewhere in here, I'm going to grab it. Then I move down to preservation, which is just armor. You need armor. That's how you're going to survive. You need armor. In this glyph socket right here, we have dominate, which is broken. For every 5 willpower purchase within range, you deal 23% increased overpower damage. That number will change based on the level of your glyph. Mine is now level 16, so that is what we're getting right now. But I don't know the max of glyphs, so that could go pretty high. And then we move over here to our second legendary node, which is Scent of Death, which again ties into Huge Flesh. And that is, I hate when you click on these, they don't drag, but whatever. Scent of Death, with at least 2 corpses nearby, you gain 15% damage reduction. While no corpses are nearby, you do 15% increased damage. So when you're opening a pack, there's no corpses, right? So you're doing 15% increased damage right off the bat. And then when there's corpses nearby, when you're fighting more mobs, you get 15% damage reduction. It's just a win-win, pretty much. Then we go up here to this rare node, which is Ruin. This is where we want damage to healthy enemies. And it also increases my crit strike damage. Then we come down here to Reinvigorate, which somebody mentioned in my videos a long time ago. I didn't even know this existed. But thank you to whoever mentioned that. I appreciate it. It has been a lifesaver. You get Essence on Kill. That's the main reason you want this. And you pick up all these like extra nodes for Essence on Kill. And when we're spamming Blood Surges, we need to be regenerating Essence as fast as possible. And that helps with that. And then I went over here to this other glyph socket and put Undaunted in here. I haven't unlocked it yet, but you gain up to 10% damage reduction for every time you, or the more Fortify you have. I don't know what it means by more Fortify. I mean, what's more? Does it mean like every 100 Fortify you have, you gain 10% damage reduction? Does it mean every 10,000 Fortify you have, you gain 10% damage reduction? I don't know. But it seems like a win-win to me. And then for every 5 willpower purchase within range, you deal 5.2% increased damage while fortified. So again, we're fortified all the time, so we're gaining both of those. Anyway, that's my Paragon board. You can pause and take a look at it if you want to. Can't get it all on screen, but you guys can get the gist of it there. Then we move over to the Book of Dead. We got sacrifice our skeletal warriors, and we get critical strike chance. Just helps with overpower. Skeletal mages, bone for the overpower damage. And then golems, we do bone again, which you could do blood, but I do bone because I get the attack speed. And the more attack speed you have, the more chances you have to overpower. If you're overpowering a lot already, and you just have a really high attack speed, you can sacrifice your blood golem and get maximum life. Should increase your overpower damage. Then we move over to my gear. You guys can pause as I go through and look at the gear stats, but I'm going to go ahead and just go over the aspects themselves. Here I got the armor for 4 seconds for when you deal any form of damage. That is very key for surviving. And then I put a ruby into it for maximum life. The more life you have, the more overpower you do. Basic skills grant 20% damage reduction, so when we hit with bone splinters to regenerate essence, we are also grabbing 20% damage reduction for 6 seconds. Blood surges, Nova Echoes, obviously this is a must-have for the build. You can pretty much ignore the stats on this one because it's going to change soon. Actually, I can go show you right now what I have to replace it if you don't watch my videos. These are the new gloves I have. I just don't have the aspect yet to replace it, but it's +4 ranks of Blood Surge, 14% attack speed, which is near a perfect roll, and a near perfect roll overpower damage and intelligence. Intelligence is kind of eh. I'd like to have willpower instead of intelligence, but I just didn't find one like that. Obviously, we want that because it's doubling our Blood Surge. Damaging an elite enemy grants you a barrier. Obviously, we want barriers because that protects our fortify, which the more fortify we have, and more health we have, more damage we do. So we want to be healthy and fortified at all times. So a barrier helps with that. It's not a perfect roll. I'm not even close to a perfect roll. It's actually the lowest roll. Becoming injured while crowd control grants you unstoppable. So if you're frozen and you're getting beat up on and you're almost dead, you gain unstoppable. And you can run away. Again, that also ties into our blood mist, so you can do it twice. Our wand here, we have sacrifice bonuses are increased by 22% because we're obviously sacrificing. Rubies in all the left side here. Definitely in your weapon. You heal for 65 life per second for each close enemy, up to 259 life per second. And for the gems on the right side, except for the offhand, you're doing skulls because of armor. Whenever your blood skills overpower, you gain 47% attack speed. That is absolutely insane when that procs, because the blood surges that go off are nutty. It's so fast that the blood surge just is one constant blood surge. It's crazy. Each percent of your maximum life, you heal beyond 100%, which we should because we're fortified. You gain a bonus overpower damage on your next overpower attack, up to 52%. I'd like that to be 60% at some point. So while you're fortified, you're already over your 100% life, right? So you're already healed over that. And now you're gaining that 0.5 bonus overpower damage on your next overpowering attack. Each time that Bone Storm, goes into our Bone Storm survivability and stuff like that. Each time that Bone Storm damages an enemy, gain a barrier. So, you know, you're already gaining your damage reduction from Bone Storm, so you're adding more on top of that. But that's my gear. If you stick around, I'll show you guys a tier 39 Nightmare Dungeon, which is level 94. We're level 80, so we can do those. Or 93, one of the two. But that's just to show you guys that it is possible to do stuff higher than your level on this build. And we are nowhere near done. I got some gear to upgrade, such as my rings and my gloves, probably my amulet as well. Actually, definitely my amulet, because I want to get rid of plus ranks of Coalesced Blood to plus ranks of Tides of Blood. But yeah, if you stick around, you can watch that video. It's just a tier 39 Nightmare Dungeon. Shows you how the build works. Hope this was helpful for you guys. If it is, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. I really do appreciate it. Try this build out for yourself. If you do, don't forget to comment down below how it worked out for you. I'll catch you guys in the next episode. As you guys can see, we're going to do a tier 39 Nightmare Dungeon at level 80, which means the mobs, I think, are like 93 or 94. Somewhere around there. I'm doing this just so you guys can see how the build is in survivability and damage for this tier. Again, it's not bad. Not bad considering they're level 93. 13 levels higher than us. Most of the mobs I just skip. I just go straight to the elites most of the time. That guy to die because he was giving them pretty much invulnerability. But yeah, it's not bad. I'm not gonna do too much in here because I just wanted to demonstrate it real quick. Show you guys the elites, and I'm also not gonna pick up this because it's not gonna do us any good for demonstration purposes. Hopefully you guys are showing, or you can see my rotation. I drop Decrepify, and then I drop Iron Maiden, and then I just spam Blood Surge and Bone Splinters. No freezes on me. So I drop, I think it's Decrepify. No, I drop Iron Maiden, then Decrepify. So Iron Maiden, and then Decrepify, and then Blood Surge. That is how I start and finish. And I use Iron Maiden and Blood Surge, Decrepify, all the time. So I give it a couple seconds. I think it's a 10-second cooldown or whatever. Lasts for 10 seconds, and then drop it again. Just so we always have it up. There's our guaranteed overpower with 5 stacks. And then we'll have 12 on Rothless Vigor. There it goes. Here's our 5. There's our overpower damage. Dodge that. And if you want, you can use Blood Mist instead of Blood Surge for taking out bosses. I just prefer Blood Surge, just faster for me. But there you go. We could do a tier 39 at level 80. It was pretty easy. Again, that was just to show you guys that it was possible to do. And probably can go higher. Probably tier 45 might be our max for now. I don't know. I need to upgrade my gear still.